doing, I want to introduce you to Parker, um, our new puppy, and he's a Maltipoo. I don't know how long he's going to stay for the video, but I will try to keep him around as much as possible so you could see him. So we decided that we wanted a dog a while ago, when we still lived in New York, and I asked my former landlord, could we get a dog? And she said no, because the previous tenants she had a bad experience with. Everything was always the previous tenants, even though I had been there for 10 years and I was what I considered and what she told me her best tenant. Anyway, so moving to North Carolina, the community that we live in is very, very pet friendly. Um, in my lease, they say that there are breed restrictions, and I'm assuming they were speaking about Rottweilers and Pit Bulls, which I don't think they um, really go by, because someone across the street from me has a Rottweiler, and in a past life I had a Rottweiler, and he was a gentle giant, and I loved him. But that was a past life. When you split, the dog stayed. So we kind of talked back and forth about what kind of dog we wanted. We talked about a Pomeranian. We talked about a Maltese. I always wanted a Yorkie, even though they seem like they bark really, really too much for me. What other kind of dogs do we talk about? My husband was researching Jack Russells, but we felt like they would be a little bit too hyper and require too much activity. Then in a past life, he had a Westie. So while I was in New York, a coworker of mine would bring his dog to work every Saturday, and she was a Cavapoo, and I fell in love with her. She was the sweetest thing, so fluffy, so furry, just so well mannered, never heard her bark, so friendly, and I fell in love, and I started researching Cavapoos. I think I talked about it with my husband. I'm not sure if I did or if he was, not interested. I really can't remember. Anyway, looking online, because down here I have not seen a pet store. In New York, there were plenty of places where you could get a puppy. They had places that just sold. That's what they did. They were a puppy store. You went to them. I did look at the pit animal shelter. I live in Pitt County, so I did look at the animal shelter. However, a lot of those dogs were older, and it was quite a few pit bulls. It was, I believe, one Rottweiler, German Shepherd. I hate to say dogs that nobody wants, but don't cry, baby, don't cry. Mama talking too much. But they were older, and we kind of wanted a dog that could get to know us, that we could train, and that's what we wanted. And we did not want a big dog, even though the townhouse that we have is spacious, especially just for two people. We didn't want a big dog. We just didn't. So I went on several websites, where they showed you pictures of these dogs, and they had the dogs pose so nice. A few of them, I believe, were scams. A lot of them. I think whenever you see, for a designer dog or for a brand, I'm calling you brand name like it's a shopping thing, but a pure breed dog, if you see $500, if you see $650, it's most likely a scam, because these dogs cost much more than that. And reading some of the reviews, some of them had to be fake. A lot of them said it was a scam. They never got their money. They put a deposit. They never got the dog. So it is kind of scary. And I did encounter a couple of those situations where something said, back up. This doesn't seem real. So not having pet stores and not wanting to deal with or take a chance with putting a deposit on the dog, and the dog having to be flown to me, and then the travel fees, $500 in addition to the price of the dog, I went old school, and that was Craigslist. I'm just going to let him get down because of my baby. He's just so cute. He's just so cute. My baby, he's so cute. I went old school, and I went to Craigslist, which also you are running a risk in scams, but it's just like the websites. So I was interacting with somebody on Craigslist, and it just didn't seem, something didn't add up, really couldn't show me pictures of the dogs. And when they finally did, it just looked like nowadays anybody can screenshot and steal pictures. So I didn't get a good vibe, and I left it alone because they wanted me to PayPal them cash. And I didn't feel comfortable PayPaling cash for a dog I didn't even see yet. And why can't we just meet up? If you live in my town, why can't I just come see the dog? Why do I have to PayPal you cash or whatever? So I left that situation alone. Then I found another lady who had toy poodles, and we wanted an all black dog. So she had a male black toy poodle. Actually, she had a couple of them. And he wants to go back in the room, y'all. Okay, go back in the room. That's where you want to go. He's just so cute. So she had toy poodles, and she was asking $1,200, and she was right in Greenville, right where I am. I think I insulted her. We talked at length on the phone. She lives close. She said I could come, see the dog. There was several people interested, which I'm not shocked. Okay. When you see a dog, you have to move fast because they go quickly. So I think I insulted her because when I talked to my husband about it, she wanted $1,200. He felt like $1,200 now. Your birthday's next week. We're going away. He felt like that was a lot because in addition to the dog fee, we need a crate, we need beds, we need toys, we need food. You need to take care of the dog, and also there's a one-time pet fee here, and then you have to pay rent for your pet too. It's kind of crazy, but that's just how they do it here. And at most places, the pet has to pay rent too. Nobody lives for free. But anyway, so I think I insulted her when I asked her would she take $1,000. Okay. I think I insulted her. Then she said she'd think about it. She said that if you let me dog sit the dog, because she also dog sits whenever you go out of town or anything like that. So I guess she would make, some money off the deal. In the long run, she said I would take $1,000. Well, the next day she called me and said somebody else came and got the dog. But she did say a friend of hers had a black male toy poodle, but he wasn't ready to go. And would I be interested? And I told her yes. She said he'd be ready in 4 weeks, which I said fine. But they want $1,400, but she'd see if they take 12. So I see that 1,200 was the magic number. And I told her fine. But the day progressed. I went back online to check later that night, and a new listing showed up with a Maltipoo. Actually, there were 3. There was one female, one black male, and one golden brown male. And it was late, so I waited till not even quite 8 o'clock. I think it was still 7 something in the morning, and I sent a message, and she responded promptly, early, like very early. I'd say within 20 minutes max, I had a response. And we started the conversation, and she told me he would be $800. And she told me what part of North Carolina she was. It was about an hour and a half away. And she was ready to move forward. So in her listing, she had the date of birth. She had pictures. I woke Mr. Fuller up because he was still sleeping, and we said, let's get on the road. So we were on the road by 9:30 that morning, which was this past Monday, headed out to her. A couple of things. I did share with my husband on the way. I was getting nervous as we were going. Is this a scam? Because she wanted to meet at a Burger King off of the I-95, and I wouldn't be meeting her. I'd be meeting her father-in-law. But she told me his name. She gave me a phone number of his and asked me what kind of car would I be driving. But still, you're nervous. You're coming, and they know you're coming with a certain amount of cash. And I don't advise anybody to do this. But she told me before we left that I would get papers for the dog. I would get his immunization record. She would give me food. She would give me wee-wee pads. Um, you know, so we went, and Mr. Fuller, he was kind of reassuring. He was calm about it, but then my mind starts thinking, of course. It's just, I don't know. It's just my mind starts thinking, what if it's a setup? Because now we're meeting at Burger King, and I'm not meeting her, who I've been conversating with. I'm meeting her father-in-law. And so while I was driving, I called the number, and it was to a Hale and Barn place. Nobody answered. So I texted her, and I said, I just tried to call your father-in-law, and it's a Hale and Barn place. She said, that's his job. She said, he will call you. Well, he didn't call me. He texted me. He said, hi, this is Alan. But he spelled his name different than what she spelled it. So I'm saying, you don't know how to spell your father-in-law's name? So my mind is going. So I tell my husband that. He's like, relax. Maybe they can't read. Or something he said, but he was too cool. So we're driving. And we finally pull up to Burger King. They're not there. But I had given them the ETA. We were out. It was public. But we waited in the car. And I see the Ford Focus that in the color that she said he would be driving. And then I seen him lift up a black puppy. So then, okay, there is a puppy. Very nice man. Very, very nice man. Very, very informative. They gave us 2 packs of wee-wee pads. They gave us food. They gave us paperwork to, they gave her name. Apparently she is a licensed breeder. She is registered with the CKA, I think. I don't know. But they said you can go online, put these numbers in, her name will come up. His name is there. You change the name, you put your information in. They gave us his immunization records. Just very, very informative about him, about his habits, about everything, about what to do with the wee-wee pad. And it was just everything. And I was holding him while they were talking. So the transaction happened. And as we headed home, she was messaging, make sure he eats, and she's doing free feeding with him, meaning you just leave the food out, and when he's hungry, he will go. So that's what we've been doing, and he's been eating. He's been drinking. They told us, and listen, this is my first real puppy experience. In past lives, I had dogs, but I was busy working, so I wasn't really that hands-on involved as we both are now. They said put a little sugar in his water or whatever for the first week. I don't know why. I did not do that. I did put a couple of drops of agave nectar in there. I hope it doesn't hurt him. It was organic. I don't know. But he drinks it. My sister did tell me to get some puppy milk, and I'll tell you why. As I was driving, another thing hit me that I didn't even think to ask. Most of the people who I've been speaking with, because we have been dog shopping for a while, have said that, and doing my online research, that usually you don't get the puppy until they're 8 weeks. They stay with their mom. But she said the date of birth was 5/24. We got him on 5/26. So that meant he was only not even 5 weeks old. So my sister said, he's kind of young, give him puppy milk. They do sell it, and I did, look it up online, and they do have puppy milk and stuff like that. Because sometimes the mother doesn't produce enough milk or whatever, or if the puppies are orphaned. So I did get 2 containers of puppy milk, and what we did was we just wet his food with it, because the research also said, because they gave us hard dry food. They said that, when they're about 4 or 5 weeks, they should be getting soft food, then transition to dry food. So what you can do if you have dry food, they said moisten it. This is a whole experience for me, guys. So I didn't, we got the dog and we left, but it just was like, he's not 6 weeks yet. He's not even, he's nowhere near 8 weeks yet, if the date of birth is correct. So, we took him and ran, and also she really didn't want to give us the black one, but he was on Craigslist, because she said she's been waiting for 5 years to get a solid black one. He does have a little white on his foot, but she really didn't want to give him up, and she even texted me that she was, it was very hard to let him go. But overall, he's been doing well. The first night I had to work, Mr. Fuller was with him, and they were hanging out. And listen, I like my sleep. So I was saying to myself, well, when he's with me, I need my sleep. So he can't be up 3 o'clock in the morning playing. So he did good my first night with him. He did a little bit better. He did wake up around 12 and he wanted to play and bark a little bit. And I had to tell him it's quiet time. And he did settle down again. And last night he did even better, sleeping more. So I think he's getting more comfortable to his surroundings, which is really good. Yeah, so we haven't taken him outside yet. I did get a couple of things from him. He has like 3 beds, okay? One for the guest bedroom, one for this room, and one for downstairs. Right now, we're just keeping him upstairs. Right now, is it recording? Yeah. Right now, we're just keeping him upstairs because I have new rugs, I have new furniture, and I want to make sure he's trained a little bit better. And he's still in that puppy chewing stage. I did get me a little puppy purse for my little designer pooch, and from Amazon. He's so cute inside of it. Dollar Tree usually has a great pet section, but the ones by me, not so great. I'm a little bit annoyed. But now that I have a pooch, I'm looking for things. But I did get toys from Walmart that he likes, and they were $3, so a couple of bucks more. I did get that. So we're just taking it day by day. We're going to take him to the vet next week and have him looked at and see when's the next set of shots. Because like I said, this is all new. I did take out pet insurance. What else did I do? I would like to enroll him in classes because I think he needs a little help. And we need help as well. But that's my experience with getting a Maltipoo offline, aka Craigslist. Be careful because I have encountered certain situations, and just using my common sense, I knew something wasn't right. If anybody is asking you for money before you see the dog, pet the dog, why can't you meet up? Why do I have to PayPal or Venmo you? Or if that's what they even call that crap. Why? Why can't we meet up? But why can't I see the dog, touch the dog? So yeah, I think that's a red flag if anybody's asking you for money right away. And some of the pictures, look at the pictures. Anybody can steal pictures. And one dog, they had him on the boardwalk somewhere, and he had on a jacket. And I'm saying to myself, that don't look like a little puppy. That dog looks a little bit older, and like, you have him on the boardwalk. I mean, it just was some craziness. So, there are a lot of scams out there. Just be very, very careful. So he did really, really good yesterday. We left him alone. We have cameras here. So I was watching him through the camera. Mr. Fuller was home. He just was sleeping. So I put him in the guest room. Because sometimes he wakes up and he wants to bark, he wants to play, and I didn't want to disrupt his sleep. And I had to run a couple of errands, and I checked in on the camera, and he wasn't crying, he wasn't whimpering, he was asleep. And he did good. And we also left him when we went to the pool yesterday. The pool is right across from our unit. So, and again, we have the cameras. I checked in, he did fine. So he did really, really good yesterday because we work 12-hour shifts on the overnight, but we have to be to work at 7. So there are going to be 3 days a week where he's, left alone, and it's going to break my heart. This morning we went to breakfast. He was whimpering a little bit when I checked the camera, but when I checked back, he was quiet. So I know in my research it says that they don't like to be left alone, and they have what do you call it, attachment issues when they're left alone, or separation anxiety or whatever like that. So one girl had said, she started getting him on a schedule and leaving him alone a little bit at a time. And a lot of people that I watch videos, they got these dogs during the pandemic, so they were home all the time. And then when they had to transition back, it was a hard thing. So we're trying to leave him alone for, periods of the day. But we're close by, and we're watching him on the camera. He has food, he has his wee-wee pads. We know that he's okay, but You know, like this week I had 3 days off back to back. Next week I'm going to have 4 days off back to back. But on days that I work, he's going to be left alone for some time. So that's the only thing. And he's coming with us on my birthday trip. He's too little to leave. I mean, I could ask my brother, I could ask my mother, but he's too little. And so he's coming to Myrtle Beach. So yes, that's my experience getting a Maltipoo offline, aka old school Craigslist. Thanks for watching.